Okay, I think the stream might be working, so perfect. We're online on YouTube. Let me just really quickly make a thumbnail using Gemini or Grok or whatever. And let's change the name of the live stream. And then we'll do our bias while that happens. Okay, really quickly. On the hourly time frame, we can see that we have clearly made, and the first thing I look at when I get onto this time frame is, right, where are our inefficiencies, our highs and lows? So right there, we can see we're bouncing out the consequent encroachment of this 1 hour fair value gap. So hourly fair value gap right there. Then we've got these lows right here. Okay, that's London's low, and then we've got Asia's high over here. So marking out session highs and lows. Additionally, where would London's high be? So we go from 2 a.m. or after 2 a.m. Everything after 2 a.m. is London session. So we could consider these highs in the new daily opening gaps London's highs. Because these are in the new daily opening gaps, I'm going to move this down. In fact, I'm going to leave it there, and we can call these relative equal highs on the higher time frames, right? So potentially relative equal highs on the higher time frames, along with the session highs and lows. Now, what's my bias? See, because we're right in the middle of the day, and we're technically continuing this bearish trend that we created after the initial retracement back up to the 0.75 of where I was trying to indicate the other day. So remember when I was saying, let me just delete all these blue lines, this is very messy. Remember when I was saying, let me just delete all these blue lines, this is very messy. In fact, not the last one. Okay, so if you remember the other day, I'll delete this too. Yeah. I was marking out all these swing highs and lows with Fibonacci's, and then I pulled the Fibonacci over, and I wanted you guys to realize how we bounced off the 0.75 right there and retraced back down again. So right there we bounced off of the 0.75 retracement, and I said, this is the highest PDRA. I said, I think if we do continue this bullish trend, this is where I want to see price get to. And I did say very clearly, if we're bullish, I'd like to see price just displace above this level, completely disrespect it, and even reach out for these relative equal highs. But as that being said, we are continuing the bearish trend, right? So then again, today, zooming all the way in, if we get close down deep and personal on the higher time frames and mark out the same thing, the swing high to the low today, well then where do you want to see price come up to? The highest would be the 0.75, the very highest. So that would be the session, not the session highs, but just before London and Asia session highs. So straight away I could say, all right, well then we could potentially be bearish. But then in addition, we've also got the new daily opening gaps at that level. Also, we could switch the narrative, hop on onto the 4-hour time frame, or so that's the narrative on the hourly. But then if we hopped onto the daily time frame, then we do the same thing. You could see the narrative would be completely different now. So from the high to the low, drag it out, and I'll make it a bit small because it will cover my whole screen when I drop down. Ah, oh, nightmare. Let me show you what I'm on about though, because this is important. How to spot a reversal. From the high to the low, drag it out, click, so I don't have that problem again. Okay, onto the 1 minute. Now, the second purple line is our 50%. So first one's 25, second one's No. Okay, I was right in thinking that's the 0.751, which is way above all these levels. So even on the daily time frame, if we were to continue this move, we could get way past all these highs. But if we're short-term shorts, then we want to see price break out of this hourly fair value gap. And why I say that is because we can both be long and short, right? So we can be bullish up to this level if we are still bearish, or price can reverse from here. So that's why I'm giving a cross narrative, because we could do one of both things. What would I prefer to see today? Preferably if when London session opens, we work out the rest of this hourly fair value gap to this high, and then see price reverse from here. Oops. So we could see price reverse from here. That's an option. We might see price reverse from here, the new daily opening gaps, or we might see price completely get above these highs before wanting to reverse at all. Do you know what I mean? So multiple possibilities of what could happen today, but the avenues right there. There's essentially three. Now, could we continue bullish? It's very much a possibility, but now let me go back to the reason why I don't think we will. We did sweep out this low. Okay, so we swept out this low, but what is this low in? This hourly fair value gap. Now, if I mark this out and drag it over, I was trying to show this out off yesterday, but I was on my phone. But see how we just perfectly fill that hourly fair value gap yesterday, and this is what I was pointing out. We come back down, bounce off the hourly consequent encouragement, and push back up. Again today, are we going to get down into that PD array and take out these lows and potentially push lower? Because then if we look back, we've also got all this price movement down here that we could take out still. So all the way down to this low. And we could imagine there to be a lot of orders here, as it is an order block. So it's just about seeing where the price bounces off this key level, goes to this key level. It's one of those days. Sit on your hands until the bias plays out, or until we get to the macros. But with that being said, it is market open, and I also want to give the idea that these lows can be swept, and we push up to the levels that I was marking before. So yeah, one of those days. Mr. Kane Source, if you want to join up on stage, please feel free to do so. If you'd like to remain in the audience, also please feel free to do so. But looks like we are going straight towards them lows right now. Also, something that I did see is, and while Kane's in here, it reminds me to say it, is TopStep is running a discount code. I'll actually take advantage of it myself. But if you want to use it, I believe it's called Alex Gold, or Gold Alex, and it's in support of one of the Olympians that got a gold medal that used TopStep. And I thought that's so cool that TopStep give Olympic athletes the funding and ability to chase the dreams and represent the country. So, huge W to TopStep on that one. How much does the code give you off? I believe if you spend $109, it reduces it to 86, and then you plus your 20% on top. So I think it's about $99. So it saves you $26, but then obviously your VAT is on top of that too. Yeah, 26 flat. Yeah, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up and we can look together. We don't have VAT. You do have VAT? I'm pretty sure. I have to pay VAT anyway. Wow. I see how it is. Wow. Do you want to see how much of a violation it is for me? Start new trading combine. No activation fee. I'll move this out of the way now because obviously we want to keep an eye on price. I got scared then, but look. VAT, 20%. Gold Alex, is it? Oh, it's at the top of the screen. Alex Gold. Watch. So for me, I'm still paying $99. So yeah, you guys get a discount. Me, American company, I guess. No, it is what it is, and this is obviously why I spoke to you the other day, Kane, about potentially getting an LLC started to save myself all the amounts of times I've paid VAT and won't be able to claim it back. How fun. So these are just some swing, not swing lows, but it's a low, and it's the low after the swing low. But I do think we're gonna take out potentially these lows, which is London lows, which I would like to see. So something me and PN personally were looking at a little while ago is looking at the lowest 5 minute or the highest 5 minute fair value gap that's been respected. So right here we'd want to see potentially either this 5 minute or the 5 minute above it fair value gap being respected, and this is to support structure. Now obviously I want to see the low get swept. So what would that mean? If we're respecting the 5 minute fair value gap on the 5 minute time frame and still sweeping out the low, that it was a fast and sharp movement and that we get displacement back up to the upside. But with that being said, we could also be doing that right here. Now, did we wish into that fair value gap? Not quite on this chart, but it's still there. It's still open. What's ES doing while we're doing all this? So we have got an SMT. Not quite, maybe. No. We do have a weak SMT, so it does potentially suggest that price may want to go a bit lower. But then again, we are bouncing directly out of the consequent encroachment of that hourly fair value gap that I did mark out earlier. To be fair, as well, I know the live stream is quiet, but in the past 2 weeks, I think my bias has been, and it's been in the high 75 to 90% range. I'm not going to claim 100% because we're never always 100% right, but my predictions have been very near on point recently, which has been very encouraging. And it's kind of like it's interesting because it's happened after I finished all my documents. So like once I got my clear mind, my clear conscience, and began to slowly transition into the period of back into focused on teaching, I've somehow enhanced my knowledge. It feels like, but obviously that's the whole point in the documents, to enhance people's knowledge. But it was just stuff like reading them over and over and over and over and over again. Because I'll be honest, a lot of it is I kind of had my own rules, and sometimes my rules would clash with another rules because I've updated them because I learn more things. And I was like, when I made these things for you guys, I made them off strictly off what ICT teaches. So like even the numbers in the psychology sections, like some of them I don't agree with, but it is my teachings, and I'm there to teach it. And it's not that I don't agree with it; it's that I don't follow that plan because I ultimately have, let's say, for example, shorter drawdown. So, um, yeah, there's many reasons for why it could be slightly different, but the teachings are very much to the, if there was a dead set rule book to follow, that's what that is. That's what that follows and adheres to, the dead set rule book. And since I've been trying to follow that bit more precisely, it's improved my trading so much, so much. So it's like, yeah, and I'm starting to see that right now, or like in the past few weeks, should we say? So interesting observation. Today might be one of them days where I do get the bias. Well, I think I can't get the bias wrong because we've already opened up down bearish towards these lows, like I marked out. But it's not that I can't get it wrong. It's that the market can be very choppy. So while we're anticipating price to sweep these lows, potentially push up to new daily opening gaps, for example, we may fall into some choppiness like we did yesterday. I mean, yesterday still delivered, but I mean, at what time? Ridiculously at in the PM session. So, pardon me, sorry, I've literally just eaten. So yeah, really, really choppy price movement recently. I'll be honest. So it's all about navigating the markets with care. Make sure you're being precise. Make sure you're following your rules. So I preferably want to see price continue this potential little chop all the way down to the macro. I'd like to see the macro spike down into these fair value gaps and push back up. And then what that's given us right now is our engineered liquidity to create the market structure shift and breaker structure. So market structure shift would be the first break to the upside, and then the breaker structure would be the second break to the upside. And I would look for a trade on the break of structure, not the market structure shift. But while we are waiting for the macro to creep up, I think everyone should text someone that you know that's not in the live streams that normally joins up, someone that you speak to, and say, "Where are you?" Just ask them, "Where are you?" and say, "Not in the live?" Question mark. Let's get some more people in here. Let's get it. Let's get it popping, as some people say. Let's run a little poll though. What is your bias? I've hosted a poll for you to decide what your bias is. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Or do you not know? So yeah, more people leaning on the fence today. I would agree with you guys, to be fair. I would. Simply for the fact that we've had some high impact news this week. Those have been our liquidity drivers. We could potentially be in a little retracement, or like I say, we could continue that chop. But the overall structure of market is still bearish, which is insane. It's a higher time frame bearish, but then we do also have Mr. Keynesaw saying he is bullish too. If you are free to talk, Kane, you can join stage. I would enjoy you co-hosting, but if you don't want to, that's fine. Yes, definitely. I'm just to remind you,
Morning. I am
we
pretty
are on
tired
YouTube.
this. Good morning. Good morning, YouTube as well. Pretty tired, I can't lie. But yeah, just another Friday. Trying to end off the week on a pretty high note. Trying to just see if we can find something small and get in, get out. Be pretty surgical with it. I'm leaning longs today. Definitely. I mean, if you see on the 5-15 minute, like I'm just looking overarching here. If we Yeah, I mean, I can share my screen briefly.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, I'm on my phone, so bear with me, chat. Um, but if we're looking here, it's just I mean, I'm looking on a larger kind of time frame here. Obviously, I know like hourly, daily, all that stuff. We're like, as Pod said, if we're on the daily here, yeah, we're leaning bears. This would be our logical order flow target, this low over here, right? But if you look where the contract opened, I mean, like, this was it. This was the low, right? Like, this is the conceivable low for the previous contract, right? And you can see it just gets messy, very, very messy. So price typically doesn't mean it's have to, right? But typically, once you see like this taken out, there's not really a reason to go lower, right? There's just really not, right? At that point, my mindset is okay, bulls all the way. It does not matter. There's like the only reason, there's always a reason to go against your position, but in this case, it's just like there's such little reason. I mean, there's this low like that we created to take out the contract low, or the previous contract low. So, I mean, we could resweep it just to be a kind of prick to liquidity, but in all honesty, like I just don't really see that. So I mean, we are way below all the end dogs and end wogs. I was expecting, if this was Wednesday or Thursday, I would expect huge bullish continuations, right? Like maybe London come back into here and then it just push up all the way through New York. But since today's a Friday, Friday's usually a pullback day, right? So it doesn't surprise me that we pull back on this. Um, and yeah, what do we see? We see price action, get flirt very closely with taking this out last night at or this morning at 6 a.m. And so I'm like, all right, cool. That should be our theoretical low. I don't really see a reason for us to take it out. Um, and then price action comes in, sweeps all of this kind of trend up throughout the AM, gives us a pretty solid unicorn here. Again, it's already been used because you see this fair value gap's already been mitigated. So we use kind of the rest of it right here, like the very small portion. So that would have been my entry long there. And we see this nice bullish push up, at least to the 50% of that. So targets for today, I would definitely say New York's high. And then who knows, if price gets really bullish, I wouldn't be surprised if we get up to 605 to this end dog right here. And then since it's Friday, I'd imagine we'd settle down back in this end log. So my bias for today of where we're at currently is bullish, but I expect us to settle somewhere around the 24.5 range to end the day. So that would be share your screen.
No problem. Merci beaucoup.
Quite welcome.
So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Everything there about that low. That also rings true to what was it, quarterly shifts when the new contract comes in. Something I don't really look at, to be honest, but it is something that's very much true. But that's also including your I think IC calls it the 20/40/60 look back. When you look back over the most previous 20 days, what's the high and the low, what's the structure, what's the order flow, what's the delivery, where's the inefficiencies, 40 days, 60 days, same thing, and see how the 20 to 40 to 60 compares, and then you can use that
Yeah.
to match that with a higher time frame price cycle, which is a bit more confusing, but you can do it, and then obviously, bada boom, bada bing, perfect bias most days.
Bada boom, bada bang, indeed.
So would that
We'll
be
see.
our first presented fair value gap?
Um,
The
I guess so.
940 candle there.
Oh, yeah, all the way down there, just below that low. I guess it would be.
I was looking at if that got off, if the first percentage got respected, but we'll see.
Doesn't look like we've really tapped into it yet. So,
No, we
I
haven't.
mean, maybe we can definitely sneak down there, maybe if we want. But I don't know. Maybe that could be on Price's radar. But I'm gonna head back down into the audience. Let you run the show.
No problemo. Thank you, brother. Thank you for your input. So not bouncing out of the first presented fair value gap, but could potentially could be going towards London lows, or we have this 5 minute fair value gap that we're in right now, which is the gauntlet of the move back to the upside. Mr. Gab is in a short down to, I believe, London's low. I'm good. How are you, Gab? That's great. Great news, brother. It's Friday. Is it your birthday? Is it your birthday? Oh, Ramadan ended. It's the end of Ramadan. I'm correct, yeah. Alhamdulillah. Did you do the whole month? You did everything, the fast, everything. Congratulations, brother. Hopefully you feel more spiritually connected with God now. But nah, very well done, bro. It takes a lot of courage and discipline to do that, so props. A lot of props. True, very true. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. But that's the whole purpose in fasting, to build a spiritual connection with God, to strengthen your yeah, to strengthen your faith essentially. No, really good, really nice to see that, bro. And we do seem to be potentially creeping down towards London's low right now. So it looks like Gab could potentially going towards take profit. Already took off 2 contracts, left 1 off to see if, yeah, so what RR did you take your 2 contracts off of? Was it a 1 to 2? A 1 to 5. Fair enough. So we have technically inversed, and I was just looking them. We technically inversed the first presented fair value gap. So I would like to see price come above that again before we do look for a long, possibly. The first presented fair value gap does control the day. I like these little moments of chop too, because if price does continue all the way down to that low right now, and then we get that inverse fair value gap displacement to the upside with a break of structure, or well, in this case it would be market structure shift. But when we get those, it's like an indication that we've clearly like wicked out the lows and swept and grabbed the liquidity that we wanted to, and then we're reversing, pushing back up to the upside. Also, another thing I was going to do is change the titles of my live stream, because it still says 18:03 and it's now 20:03. Just going to get a screenshot for the, what's it called, the thumbnail. Uh-oh. And there we are, creeping past London's low right there. exactly what I was saying before. So if we just drip down all the way to this low, now we'd want to see that displacement back up to the upside at some point. Just get my thumbnail ready. For some reason, it's taking its time. It's made the most clickbaity thumbnail ever, but you know what? I'm not even bothered. Look at the thumbnails created. What a ridiculous thumbnail. Short signal. I didn't even ask it to do this. I just said turn this into a thumbnail. Short signal. Massive crash incoming. London low swept. Danger zone. Maybe it's onto something. We're just gonna use it anyway. maybe they know something I don't, you know? I'm gonna change the title to What is Market Doing? And that's where we answer the question of what market is doing. That's what we are here for. To tell you guys. Okay. Now the clickbait YouTube is there. You guys should open it while we are. You should open the YouTube live while you're in this live and support the growership of the channel. So right at the middle of the macro, this is where price usually starts to pick back up. So we'll see. Also, I believe there is no news today. I checked yesterday, but we will just double check again. Yeah, no news. Obviously, it's yellow folder, so. So we've just made a new candle, so potentially wicking out this previous candle's low before pushing back up to the upside. But we have just made a new higher time frame candle on most time frames, so including the hourly, the 4 hour. So yeah. ICT thinks we should have our eyes on this low, which is the 24,200 low, which is really interesting. He's literally just tweeted it, 22,400 sell side. So we'll see. But like I said, obviously a little CRT, a little bit of a displacement back up to the upside. This is more of the move that I'm happy to see. Now we'd have to continue this move all the way up to here for us to claim the market structure shift, because I wouldn't classify this as a swing. So this line, I'll delete these fair value gaps because they've not been respected. These lines would be the market structure shift, but I'll mark that out when it happens, if it happens. For now, we will keep our eyes on A, either this market structure shift, or B, this level of liquidity right here. So what one will it be? I personally don't think, and I agree with Kane when he says I don't think we'll get down to this low. It does seem a little irrational to want to take out that low again, even though that's the contract low now. So since we swept out the previous contract low, I wouldn't want to see this contract low be swept now. I want to see this low stay in place for the price to push higher. But that would obviously be, like I said, like I've been saying for a long time, it would be like the turn of the tide, because obviously the start of the year is always bearish, no matter what year you look at. It's always bearish most years. I mean, I think in the past like 25 years, there's been like 2 years that were bullish at the start of the year. And that's because of natural like events that were happening, not because of price action. So yeah, considerations. I've also, I think, left me drink outside from when I was eating, and I've not brought it with me. And now I greatly regret sitting here without a drink. Let's see how many viewers we've got on the YouTube. It says warning, the current bitrate is low. Let's see if it works. Is the live working? It is working, and my audio's coming out my headphones, so I'm sorry if there was any other audio. That I couldn't hear. But ladies and gentlemen, you should be opening the YouTube. Just open it in a background tab and put the sound on mute, and for some reason it'll think that you're watching it, and it'll give me one extra viewer. Which you never know, that could be all we need. That could be the one person we need to reach, that one extra person. So, I've just seen TJR's live on Kick. Look at this. He's live on Kick.
And most of these things are, but word's gotten around, bro.
Scammer.
Our parties are pretty fucking.
No, I don't look at what he does. I've probably just been banned for typing scammer in his chat, to be honest. I don't care. It's the first time I've ever watched him on Kick, and it's probably going to be the last time I ever watch him on Kick, because I've probably just been banned. GK, I see you. Thank you, thank you. We'll pin the first message, so GK, you get a pin. And we appreciate your support. Price action is just sinking today, which is quite crazy. I mean, obviously we are in a bearish trend, but to push down all the way to these lows is very irrational. I don't think we should do it, especially these lows. I still don't think we should do it. But hey, we'll see, won't we? Gold shot up and came back down. Let's take a quick look. Oh wow, it's 4,600. Oh wow. Oh yeah, that's a clear indication, isn't it? What's it looking like on the 1 minute? That's crazy. Wow. That's crazy. Every London session gold pushed down 300 points. So basically just short during London session. Exactly. Yeah, you're right. There's London session right there. It wakes up. Boom. That's crazy. Anyway, back to where we started. I guess you could say the same for gold. No, I'm joking. Oh, that is crazy though. That's a huge retracement. We were at like $5,600 a bar. That's $1,000 decrease. Gotta go. Take care, everyone. Bye, Gab. Take care, brother, and God bless. GK. Something I want to say to you is I was looking at a thread about gold, and the people in the thread said, I mean, there was obviously young timers. The thread post was, "What is going on? Can someone please tell me what is going on?" And someone said, you know, I'm gonna call him a boomer, but obviously boomers have got experience. He was saying, you only have to look back at the, you know, the early 70s and all the way up to the maybe 90s to see the pattern of gold and what it's doing right now and what it will do. And right now, this is like a calculated retracement to rebalance the hyperinflation that's been causing gold to push up so much. So yeah, that is something that is, it made me like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I did the exact same thing because I searched it up. I like put it into ChatGPT, like what did gold do? It weren't ChatGPT, but it wasn't AI. I think it was Kimmy. I said to it, what did gold do between 1970 and 1990? In terms of price action and retracement, and then it gave me like every year step by step, and I said, all right, how does that map correlate to today's price action? And it just gave me it, and I was like, ah. Because start of this week, I honestly did not know where we were going bearish. What? Yeah. Price action does seem to be stalling a little bit right now, and it's just macro ended, so maybe macro sweeps out literally these two little lows before pushing higher. I don't really want to see price go past that point if I'm bullish, which it just has swept them. So technically, the bullishness should come in now. If not, I'm questionable about it. But after Tuesday and Wednesday seeing a lot of bearish movement, I just follow the trend. Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. Well, it's also looking back on that weekly. So going all the way back to like the weekly drivers. So where were the biggest drivers? So all right, you used the VWAP. So if we anchored that to this one here, that's the volume too. No, that's ghost feed. Anchored VWAP right here. And you see how we're in that lower section right now. So we bounced down, and now we come down to this lower section again. So it's just stuck inside this chop, but it's expanding. So rather than getting narrower and narrower, it is expanding, as you can see. But like I say, I really don't know too much about it. That's I was going to say I thought that was AUD USD then, but it's not. It has been very choppy. On the contrary, Nasdaq has been very bearish, especially today alone, which is quite crazy in my opinion. Just how bearish we actually have been. Looks like we are going to go down to these lows, and ICT was right. My question is, and it will be for the rest of the day, and I'll figure it out later, but why? And I'll have to study ICT's Twitter to get the reason. Very interesting though. Yeah, he's not really posted anything else regarding today's price action. So we inverse the first presented, and that's the only thing I can hold against shorts today, apart from the trend. Everything else screams bullishness, screams we want to go long. Just the time of year, which makes things hard. Just the volatility is just not there right now. Very manipulated pullback. It feels so strange looking at the time and it being the time it is compared to when I normally go live. I normally go live in 4 minutes in my time. It feels so weird to be sat here while the time turns that time. But obviously it'll all change, I think, next week. I'll be back onto my regular schedule. And now that I've got a good routine, hopefully it will be one of those where I can keep on top of it and make most out of my work in hours. It's crazy how like, pardon me again, how many, like, alright, I'll say it like this. It's quite crazy how much free time you have just by using your time wisely. And I know that sounds stupid, but like, just deciding when to sleep is a huge decision to having a productive day. If you sleep an hour later than you should do, you're either gonna lose an hour the next day, or you're going to be tired, and that's going to have a knock-on effect to how your day is. And for me, obviously, I woke up at a certain time every day, but I'd also go to sleep at a certain time, and I'd make sure I get like at least between like 6 and 8 hours. Whereas at the moment, because I'm going to sleep a bit earlier, for some reason my body is really weird. When it goes to sleep early, it goes to sleep when it goes dark, so I get tired when it goes dark. So if I go to sleep at like 10 or 11 o'clock, maybe sometimes 12 o'clock, then I'll wake up at sometimes 5, 6 in the morning, or between 8 and 9. And it's like, it's strange how I feel like I'm being more productive in the day waking up early in the morning than just waking up before market open, then going to train and then coming home. Because then I just procrastinate for the rest of the day. Whereas right now I'm doing things, I'm being productive, I'm reading more books, etc., etc. So yeah, I also want to get back into studying, but what I study next is definitely going to be a question. I actually sent Kane a message about studying because I know Kane really wants me to take my Series 3 exam. So if you look at that resource I sent you, Kane, I know it's a YouTube video, but if you just click on it and go to that website, you could tell me how you did it and if that website's good or not. He's not in the audience. Ah, my bad. Do you know when it's because when I've got my OBS open, I split screen it with my Discord. But GK, you also took the Series 3, so I could also send you the website and see what your opinion is too. It's not a website, it's a video, but the website's within the video. It might be in the video description or something, but I sent it to you over DMs. Oh, you didn't take it? Did you study for it, or am I mistaken? You haven't even opened the book. You know, so when you say, have you got like 5, 10 minutes to join up on stage?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning.
So when you say you haven't even opened the book, what book are you on about? Is obviously the book to study.
Yeah, so Kane allowed me to use his book that he passed the Series 3. So he sent it over to me, and I haven't gotten the time to be like opening it or studying it yet, just
Right.
because everything that I'm going through right now, just
Yeah.
it's like I don't got. I mean, it sounds bad of an excuse. Is like I do have time, but I don't have time for Series 3. If that makes sense, it's like my time right now is so occupied with so many other things right now.
Yeah, no, I
But
understand.
and like I'm really bad at studying. Like
So if
self
I
study is
wanted to study in the meantime, would you be able to share that book with me, and I would be able to use that book to study?
yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Secondly, do you know if I was to take the exam, how would it work? Because I'm in the UK, would I have to just go to a test center in the UK that allows me to take that exam, or
U- Usually, yeah, unless let me see. So
that would probably be me getting a train to London?
yeah, but the thing is, I don't know if I'm assuming the rules will all be the same, unless there's like a little difference of certain things since the UK and the US. Um, the often taken by the UK bid. Yeah. Uh, it looks like you can. I just don't know what test centers that you have to go to try it out or so.
Yeah, obviously it's something I'd have to look into, but studying is the first priority, definitely.
Mm-hmm. But I know I forgot how much the exam costs. It's 140. Let's see. I think what Kane said, if you fail it once, then you can take it a month after.
Yeah, you've got to have like a cooldown period.
Yeah, but then if you fail it the second time, then you have to wait 6 months
Oh
to retake it
wow.
again. Yeah. I know he said that he failed it the first time, but he
Yeah.
waited a month, passed it on the second try. So, yeah. Is it a test? I think both. You have to memorize and understand. I think what Kane was talking about was just vocabulary and I believe math. But I think the math was multiple choice during the exam. Um, let me. Series 3 is a national commodities futures exam.
Yeah.
So basically, essentially, specs. It's like you are eligible to give financial advice in the markets. So
Yeah.
if
No, I've
Kane wanted
I've
to
looked up
tell
everything.
you,
So it makes you
yeah,
a CTA, which is a commodities trader advisor,
yeah,
and that means you could become a PA, which is a personal
um,
an AP. Sorry, what's the AP stand for again?
um,
Associated person. So you could become an associated person at a commodities
firm.
trade as a trade. Sorry, you could become an associated person of, let's say, a prop firm that manages commodities trading advisory. So, for example, and this is just an example, working at Top Step could make you an AP.
Yeah,
So,
like you can like give out payouts.
is it
You could
memorizing?
even work at Tradeovate, like all these other brokerage firms
Yeah, yeah,
too, if you
exactly.
want. So like not just prop firms, like literally any financial
Or
firm,
banks, yeah. So it's
banks or
commodities,
so.
anything to do with
Yeah,
commodities. But then there's
exactly.
something
So
called Series 7, and that's everything but futures.
Series 7 is like the hardest though, I think.
It is.
It's like taking a bar exam or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same, yeah. It's the bar equivalent of the financial market, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I can study. I don't know.
How much
I'm
is it
gonna
to
try to
take the
make
exam,
time.
GK? 140, did you
Huh?
say?
What you say?
140 to take the exam, did you say it was?
Yeah, it's $140. But what sucks is it's the timing issue. Is if you fail it the first time, you have to wait a month. If you fail the second time, you have to wait 6 months. And after the third try, I don't even know what's gonna happen from there.
If you failed the third time, you're just blacklisted. Obviously not. If I pass, would I get a job automatically?
You have a probably higher probability of getting hired.
Yeah, it's not. It's not like it's like saying if you go to school and do your exams, do you get a job when you leave school? It's the same thing. It's school for traders.
Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
you'd be qualified. Obviously, you'd be a Series 3 qualified trader.
yeah,
I'll say it like
yeah. I don't know
this.
how
I'll
it
say it
is.
like this, and you guys will understand what I'm saying. I know someone that done their Series 3 recently, and after doing that, they automatically, not because of this one reason alone, also down to their hard work, but got a promotion in their job without putting any names. But yeah, you guys know exactly who I'm on about.
I know who.
I'm not allowed. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to disclose who. Do you know what I mean?
Rhymes was raising.
It's talking about. It's, yeah, talking about ZZ. Yeah.
Here's what he's talking about me. Oh,
Extremely choppy movement from Nasdaq today. And I honestly did potentially anticipate maybe the pullback, but the fact that we're bouncing out of this hourly fair value gap tells us everything we need to know. pre-market has been such a decider on market recently, and it's not nice. Really not nice. I want to see big brutal New York session taking out London lows and taking out London highs and being the market movers. Right now, the New York bank's looking weak. It's looking skimp. Everyone at the stock exchange is just like off work or something. All the hedge funds are cutting the hedges. That is a point now. I've just realised. That's a very good point. That's a brilliant way to put it too. You know, things like hedge funds, banks, etc., etc. What's the most logical time for them to collect their money, reset the trading balances, go back to square one? Well, it'd be this time of year. Right now, actually. So that could explain half of the reason why we are looking how we're looking right now.
I forgot. In ZZ, you need to have a passing score of 70%, at least minimum.
And it's a two-part exam. So the first
Yeah,
part's
so the two
35 questions and the second part's 85 questions. But the
yeah, so
entire
the two
exam
sections
is
is just general
125.
industry knowledge is 85 questions, and the regulatory requirements are 35 questions.
Yeah, but the regular trade requirements are just calculations. It's all
Yeah,
calculations.
I'm gonna have trouble on that part, to be
The
honest.
first, the first, the first exam is 35 questions, and it's just all calculations. And then the second part's just general market knowledge. Like, it was. I don't know if you ever remember the question that we answered about the cows and that, but it was similar to that.
Yeah,
Yeah, similar to that question. Just replace the word cow with some kind of future industry market or commodity based market. I kind of got Claude to admit to me earlier that ICT was the most logical way to trade. But it's funny because it tried to divert me from the truth. It tried to say like, nah, ICT doesn't make sense, and I was like, so what does make sense? And it was like, nothing makes sense. Don't trust anything. Nothing's 100% certain. And I was like, all right. So using that logic, what's the highest probability trading setups? And he was like, well, in that case, ICT doesn't make sense. So I said, all right, well, what does make sense then? And it just gave me a bunch of ICT terminology, like use macro times. And I can't remember what it was saying, but it was saying things like ICT talk, and I was like, so if we used setups like the silver bullet and blah blah blah, paired with market maker models and interbank price delivery algorithms to follow the liquidity, like you were saying, is this the most probable ways of doing it? Oh yeah, and it was saying use the macro times and that, and I was like, so using all this together, is that the most probable way to trade? And it was like, oh yeah, that's a gold mine, you're onto a winner. And I was like, what? That's ICT, what are you on about? It would just made me mind blown, but yeah. If you said ICT, it says no. But if you explain ICT on its own, it says, oh yeah, that's like the best way to trade ever. It's
the
pretty
first and
funny.
second part.
What's the first? Oh yeah, he's on about the exams. I've already answered that question, I think.
Yeah, so the first section is going to be general industry knowledge, and the second section will be regulatory requirements.
I'm just gonna point out that I did not anticipate price to respect this fair value gap as much as it did, but I did mark it out for a reason. I did say this is the last low that I want to see get swept. We swept it, and then we have started pushing up since, which is absolutely insane. I didn't give this call out, but I would actually give this call out after the breaker structure. So I'm going to forward test this position right here and see how it looks for a 1 to 3. I'm just going to forward test that right there. Just a sneaky forward test. And now we are getting to about 10:30. Hopefully we do start to see the 10:30 market reversal take place, which is normally just called the 10 a.m. reversal, but if you think about it, it happens between 10 and 11 during the kill zone window, so what's halfway between them two? Smack bang in the middle, you're at 10:30, which is exactly when markets started picking up. Look at that. Look at the 10:30 candle. I mean, that is all you need to see right there, isn't it? In terms of macros and kill zones. After what I was just speaking about with Claude telling me that, use macros, use kill zones, use time as your biggest driver, not other things. Interesting. And look at that. Would you look at that? My forward test is going ahead. It does. It feels so weird being on the markets right now. Like, I should just be starting the live stream. Do you know what I mean? Not like just now. I'd be live for 20 minutes, 25 minutes already, but yeah. GK,
Yeah.
just while I grab a drink, do you want to give anyone a rundown on what you've been looking at on gold recently with the VWAP? I think maybe if there's not anyone here that might care, there might be someone on YouTube, even in the near future, that could see what you're talking about. So, do you want to do that and share your screen for a sec, or while I get a drink?
Yeah, that's fine. I could do that.
No
I
problem.
don't really have anything for gold right now because I already finished trading.
No, I mean like just explain why the shorts continued and things like that. I'll share my screen for the YouTube so everyone on the YouTube can see too. Just for 2 minutes while I get a drink.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Mm,
Also, if you are watching on the YouTube live and you are interested in what GK's talking about, two things. One, GK's YouTube channel is pinned in the comments on the live stream, so that's thing number one. But thing number two is we also have the server link in the description of the video. So if you do like what GK's talking about and can relate to him at all, use the link, come to the server and ask GK some more questions, because I'm sure he'd be delighted to answer you. As you've just heard, there's not really many people here that are using what he's using, but he's onto a winner. GK just took a 10k trade, and he's making like 8k per trade, 5k per trade. So guys, if you want to get involved, get involved. Anyway, I'll hand over to you, GK.
thank you, Podge. Let's see. Gold right now, we definitely had a whole bearish trend on the start of this week. So as of right now, I'm waiting for either gold to reverse and to see if we are going to be going back to a bullish momentum. We would have to break these highs right here, to be honest. If we don't break those highs and we're just making lower highs, then we're continuously going to be going back down. Right now, I don't see any good setups for gold just because we broke previous quarter high, as well as we were respecting previous day VWAP, as well as just respecting the previous day mid. As of right now, I will still say bearish momentum for gold. Probably targeting the previous day low, probably also the previous month low. But the trade I did take yesterday, or excuse me, not yesterday, last night during Asia session, I took this short right here. Right here. Yeah. Nice little short. I was a little greedy, to be honest. I was trying to aim till like this deviation band from previous day, but of course it did not go that much down. But let's see. So I was able to hit a break even. So I went in for a second entry, and just due to the experience for myself, when price taps back into a deviation band here, and when we are having bearish momentum, or say if it was bullish momentum, normally if I see a bearish candle being respected around the deviation band, I will honestly go for a second entry for shorts, which in this case my target would be down here, but again I was greedy last night, so I wanted to go a little bit lower, and I got stopped at break even again. I did take some partials around this area though. And around 9 p.m. last night, which I've noticed too during Asia, it does fluctuate, or it has a massive size of volume. So like last night, if you guys were on, this little candle right here went down all the way and came back all the way back up
Can I
and came
comment on
back
that?
down. Hmm?
So that is obviously like, so you've got Tokyo session, and then you've got Sydney session, you've got Chinese session, so Beijing or whatever. So once
Right.
all them markets are open and all them banks are participating in the price action, that's when you usually see that big reversal that you get during Asia session, when all them banks have started participating in the markets.
Yeah, and that's what I was assuming. So even though like I was short biased from the beginning of Asia, when I saw this candle going up and down, or down and up, and closing above the VWAP, I honestly had to switch a bias for a little bit to go into a longs. So I actually caught this long right here. Um, let's see. Caught this long, hit break even because I didn't know if it was gonna go back down. Went in again right here, and luckily I was able to hit my target this time. But I still ended with a positive day. So about 2K for the day. But of course, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I could have held it for a little longer, but it's okay. This could have been another good entry right here too, for the balance of the deviation band, because we did break above the opening range, as well as respecting the top of the deviation band right here. So that could have been another good entry that I would have taken if I was still in the markets.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I like trading New York during gold during New York session sometimes, but I'm not a big fan of it as much. I don't know. It moves very weird.
Yeah. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you mean.
So
Sporadic.
like, so if you want to go NQ, like Podge was saying, we're looking probably. You said bearish, right?
I
Podge?
preferably want to see price return back up right now, but it is looking bearish, to be fair. I'd prefer to see price pull back, but it does look a
So
bit
like right
bearish.
here before market open, right? We see price on NQ coming down, came back up, respected the deviation bands, chopping itself back up, tapped into the orange, which is the anchor VWAP, closed below this candle right here, and as we can see, it's sort of like think of it like a fair value gap in a way, maybe if you want to think of it like that. It sort of respects the VWAP points. So
So
like
what it is it's price's average true range, isn't it? And so
average volume weighted average, yeah. So like a lot of buyers or sellers are rested in that area. So like this
yeah,
area, a lot of sellers are here. In this area, there's a bunch of sellers are here. That's why we see a big push down. Um, and it's sort of the same difference when it goes bullish, right? But when every time the candles are respecting the VWAP. If it does not break above, so like let's say for example here, if price kept doing this, right, going up, 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 going a whole uptrend, and let's say it broke above this VWAP right here, retested the VWAP, then closed with a bullish candle, I would go for a long around this area. The reason why is a break and retest at the end of the day, right? So we'll probably see price coming back into the deviation bands right here, or maybe the target could be the opening range low or the opening range high, maybe opening range, previous day high. But that's of course if it went the opposite direction. In this case, of course, on NQ, you do see we're constantly having a bearish momentum because we're making what? Lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And right now, we are respecting this deviation band right here. And if I put an anchor at this low, yeah, we're respecting. So like, let's say if I wanted to go for a quick short here, stop loss will be above this high. My take profit will be here or maybe down here. And we'll see how this plays out. Now, normally, of course, I would enter it a little bit above, but just based off what I'm seeing right now, it looks pretty good for a short. And this is just a practice account, so I'm not even trading on my funded or so.
But yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Would VWAP work the same way with any futures? I mean, would you use it the same way outside of gold? So I think that answers your question there.
Yeah, VWAP works with any pair. And it's a little bit easier to view when you're looking for your bias too. Because you could also tell if the price is being choppy, right? Oops.
Yeah.
So like right here during Asia, we see price going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We're not seeing a solid movement until what, 2 a.m. Eastern time. That's when you saw a whole break, retest, push back down again, retest, respected the VWAP, came all the way back down, and retested again, came all the way back down. Right. So that there's another indication of like, okay, you can see price chopping in between. And you see a bunch of this, you see chop. I mean, I don't know if you can see it with ICT, but I know with VWAP, you can definitely tell if you're chopping or not.
Well, in ICT, we call Asia session the accumulation. So yeah, we see it, don't you worry.
But yeah,
Asian accumulation, London manipulation, New York distribution, but not every day, obviously. That's one of
not
your
every day, of
one of
course.
your 6 daily
Right.
profiles. Can I ask you a question then while your screen's still open? What would be a considerable factor for you to see divergence?
For me,
Yes. So how do you spot
mm,
divergence?
I don't. I don't really use divergence.
So how do you know when the market's following the trend and being manipulated?
For me, let's see, on gold, I wouldn't really know if if market is manipulating or expanding. The reason why is because I got rid of that mindset from ICT. And the reason why I say that is because I'm going based off price movement. Is if price is going down, I'm gonna look for shorts. If price is above VWAP, I'm gonna look for longs, type of thing. Like I don't look for the whole picture because I'm more scalping than holding on to trades, except for like some of those days that I've been holding on because we were constantly on a bullish trend, right? Here, for example, I wouldn't know last night if I should have been in a short forever because we came down, came back up, retested, thinking that it could be a bullish momentum, right? Keep going back up, but it didn't. But it didn't. It kept, in a way, if you look at a higher time frame, we were sort of chopping here, not really doing anything. Went up, back down, came back up. But look at that.
So gold,
There's a little.
gold is versus the US dollar. So have you got trading view on your? Is that trading view?
Yeah,
Just type in DXY.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Like, there's a diversion with the dollar
It's
and
it's
stuff.
it's indirectly correlated. So the price of gold, it's XAU USD. So it's
Right.
versus the dollar. So you can see how it's completely the inverse. You have to drop
But
to
thing
volume
is,
on the left chart.
right. But what I'm saying is, I don't use this as a strategy. If that makes sense. Like, I get
No,
what you're
it's
saying.
not. It's not a strategy. I'm not saying that. It's just divergence. So that's what I'm saying. So if they're going in the same direction, all right, well, one of them's being
Hmm.
manipulated. Either the price of gold's being
Hmm.
inflated or the dollar's being inflated. Hopefully, the earlier. Hopefully, the price of gold's being well. Do you know what? For the world's sake, hopefully the dollar's being inflated. But I think we both know that the gold's been inflated.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I
Which
can.
makes sense why gold is bearish because
Yeah.
the dollar is going up.
1979, 1972, I should say. Mid
Right.
1970s. But look into that, GK. That was really interesting. That what I was watching. Well, what I was reading.
Okay.
I had to do more
Yeah.
research on it, but what I found was like, wow.
Yeah. That's what it is for me.
But yes, let me share my screen again. I've gone full screen on my Discord, and now it's like stuck at the top of my screen for some reason. I can't minimize it. Ah, brilliant! I know what to do. Just spam escape until it works. Let me bring this back over. Share my screen. Forward test not going so well. Chopping around in drawdown. But like I said, I did say this, way before we ever forward tested this, that today could be one of those really, really choppy days. So, always something to anticipate.
Well, the short that I put in for NQ is going.
True, yeah, true. Like I said, in PM, just whip back up again. It makes me question, are they actually trying to inflate the dollar? Because if they are trying to inflate the dollar, they're doing a brilliant job at it, but they're keeping it at the same price. It's been at 99 for a long time. Or in the 90s for a long time, anyway. Although it did reach over 100 a few days ago, which I didn't even notice. But yeah, it's been in the 90s for a long time. These were the peak times. Last year, mid last year. The dollar was at an all-time high. Probably super strong, super useful. And Nasdaq is dumping again. GK short would have absolutely cooked. I think I would have been taken out of that like forward test long. I'm gonna get removed
Yeah.
off my screen. We all have hopes and dreams.
You're welcome, Wendy. Right there. Oh, I just want to show you.
Oh yeah, sorry. Thank you, Wendy. Super nice to have you around. Hopefully, I'll see you next week. And if I don't, have a great weekend. Most importantly, God bless. If you're not gone already. What was that you're showing me, GK?
I was just showing you the trade that I'm still in for the NQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a little 1 to 3. Little short scalpy scalp. My stops are at break even, and it should tap my TP.
Crazy little push down that though.
Mm-hmm. This is where I love volume. I want to see volume and momentum. I want to see speed.
So you think that's all coming now?
Yeah. I mean, it may just tap into the current year low and the previous week low. So, and again with NQ, we have just been bearish, or choppy than bearish. Mostly choppy though. It's funny. Damn, hits my break even. Coulda, woulda, shoulda gotten out, but it is what it is. Mm. Podge, I'm gonna be in the audience. You take over now.
I'm not gonna lie.